sits in James's seat. Is that what you're saying?
Now you're an attorney, do you?
Oh, that's the one seat I
Actually,
ain't
I took
taking.
the LSAT.
Hey, Dia, you can feel the power coming out of that chair, can't
Yeah,
you?
I can. Yeah, I took the LSAT and it was so bizarre. I just got up and walked out at the end and said, no. I don't even know if I passed it or not. I never looked.
You know what I did? I took the MCATs.
Oh, yeah.
Bounced the check to Princeton and never paid to get the result.
Oh, my God.
Are we ready, Lupe?
Yes, sir.
Lord.
I call to order this regular meeting of the Navasota Planning and Zoning Commission for September 25th, 2025. If you have not already silenced your mobile devices, please do so at this time. And as you are able, please rise for the invocation and the pledge. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for being able to assemble this evening in a free city, in a free state, in a free country. We ask that you give us the wisdom to consider the things before us and continue to bless our great city with people willing to invest in it. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For those of you who do not know, the gentleman sitting to my right is our newest commissioner. And I will let him introduce himself and say something quick about himself.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. My name is Bert Bearden. I'm a resident here in Navasota, live out in Pecan Lakes. Have been here about 3.5 years. I work for the Champion Homes corporate office in the HR department. So it's a privilege to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve. So thank you.
Thank you and
Thanks.
welcome. Remarks of visitors, we have forms in the back. If anybody wanting to do that, please fill it out by 5:45 and get it to city staff. We have one for this evening. She will speak on agenda item number 5. You want to speak at that time, Connie, or do you want to speak now? Okay.
Good evening. Connie Clements, 300 Hillside Street, Navasota, Texas. Earlier this week, I talked with Lupe, and I think my concerns are going to be addressed tonight with the Taco Bell plat, but I just wanted to come and reiterate my desire to see the city incorporate into the design standard something that addresses the drive-throughs. Either no curbing or 4-inch rollover curbs rather than the curbing that traps you to where you can't get out, in an emergency situation. So I just wanted to go on record repeating that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, consideration and possible action on a subdivision plat application submitted by Walter J. and Barbara Thane for the purpose of subdividing 15.964 acres into the Thane subdivision. The proposed subdivision creates 3 platted lots. The properties affected are located along State Highway 6, northbound frontage road, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas 77868. Legally described as A0044 Jesse B. McNeely, tract 46.5, acres 14, and Dove Crossing Block 1, Lot 6, acres .064.
Mr. Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission, a brief summary of this item. It is, as you read, a subdivision plat. Takala Corporation has been working to develop and construct a Taco Bell, working with the Thane family and Maxon family on this property. As you read, it's a little over 14 acres, creating 3 unique lots. The plat is attached in your packet. I'm sure you can read that clearly on a 8.5 by 11. All the small squigglies you see everywhere are easements. There's a lot of easements here. I know we joked earlier this week with the project engineer, I believe, or Dwayne, that the plat is mostly easements now. But that is for a reason. There's been a lot of conversations with the family and with the project engineer and Dwayne with Takala about the future development of this property. And so those easements allow for that to happen in a fairly smooth manner down the road when those additional acres are developed. As summarized in the staff report, the plat was reviewed by staff and our project engineer or third-party engineer, and so all of the comments were addressed, and what you have before you tonight meets all of the city's requirements. Terry Haygood, he's project engineer on this. He's here to speak on the plat if y'all have any specific questions.
I have a lot of questions about the lot 1, because it looks to me like that entire lot is pretty much all easements.
Yeah, a good chunk of it is, for sure. Probably the one that takes up the most space is the 30-foot or 35-foot access easement. However, it is, there's no minimum lot sizes in B1. There's a lot of commercial use and a lot of commercial buildings out there that don't require a lot of acreage. And so even though it looks fairly small, you could technically fit something in there.
Like a Taco Bell?
Probably not a Taco Bell, but maybe like one of the smaller drive-through concepts you see. I think there's a new coffee place. I know Bert's not here, but there's a few other. There's a small stores that really don't require a lot of footprint.
Okay.
I know Salad Go. They use really small.
Just close.
They
Yeah,
just
they're
closed. A
gone.
bad example.
That made me a coffee shop.
Yeah. So there's a lot of uses for it. You could just tell by the 35-foot access easement that's there. You still have a lot of room to do something on. It just looks small compared to the rest of the acreage.
Big piece of land.
With all that being said, the recommendation from staff is to approve as presented, contingent upon TxDOT approval of the proposed driveway location and deceleration lane. I think they're nearing the finish line with TxDOT on that. I just want to make sure we always have that as a contingency to let the project continue to move forward.
So is the idea that the deceleration lane would then be able to accommodate other things on that frontage?
Well, yeah, I think the goal, and that is why you see that large shared access easement through there, is TxDOT will likely not approve any more driveways along the frontage of this property. And so that driveway entrance and the deceleration lane will service quite a bit of property along that frontage road.
So the other part, the 2 and 3 and all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lot 1 and lot 3. I can't remember off the top of my head their spacing requirements, but
Yeah.
likely not on this property.
Okay.
So is there any chance at all that they may come back and want to divide lot 3 into smaller lots?
Yes, absolutely, and that's the intent, and that's hopefully the goal. Is
Okay.
the access easements are put in place, but in the future, there could very well be 2 or 3 more lots south of lot 2
Okay.
that comes in for a replat here before this group.
Those are pretty rough to read. Do I remember a few years ago that there's a gas line that runs through there?
Yes, there is a Exxon pipeline
Exxon.
easement.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yep, and they are aware of what's proposed, and Mr. Haygood with the engineering, he's working
Okay.
through that.
Okay. All right.
Is the gas line, what part of the property is zoned, do you know?
It fronts the frontage road, basically. Yeah, the
Yeah.
first 50 feet from the frontage road is all Exxon, basically.
Gotcha.
That's another one of those lines on this plat.
I know that you can't see. Yeah. Can we see it if, well, no, it's no bigger up there, really.
Oh, we can zoom in. That's not a
Okay.
problem. So you see here, 50 foot
Okay.
wide. I can't read that because I don't have my glasses, but
Amendment of easement,
these-
Exxon pipeline. 50
Yeah.
foot.
it's this bold line here to this line.
Okay.
And it basically runs the entire length
Yeah.
and spans.
I was thinking that because of something we talked about several years ago in that area, that there was a pipeline.
Yeah, I think this is the same easement that goes all the way through Chicken Express, and they dealt with it too,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, because the hospital looked at that piece of property for a while too and decided we couldn't do it because of the gas line. Well, I have to say that after all these conversations in the past few years about Taco Bell, that I'm glad to see that it's in a different location now.
Amen to that.
And, you know, I mean, I do believe that it does bring jobs to our area. You know, I wish,
Revenue.
and revenue, and hopefully they'll have some healthy food choices. You know, not like I'm gonna get them, but I like the Mexican pizza. And so I am glad to see that we've moved forward with, you know, a different location.
I'm glad to see they want it to come back.
Yeah, true, really.
Yep.
And to keep, you know, working with us and negotiating,
Right.
finding other places and stuff. So, you know, I'd kind of hope they would be either on the north or the south area of LaSalle, you know, to bring people into downtown, but this works too. Okay.
Todd, you have no questions for the engineer?
I know, I'm thinking about water,
It's
Todd.
just the replat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no drainage on the
There's
plat.
no
right?
draining on a plat.
Yeah, I know, I'm looking at these little X's going, is that the drainage?
I was just, the whole, decel and stuff is what I don't really see much.
Yeah, well, the decal's not on here at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's outside in the text dot right
I
away, and
know.
so.
I mean, but we had this problem with the gas station a couple weeks ago, which is nobody was happy, but TxDOT does what TxDOT does,
Right.
you know, and we can't do anything about it until there's problems, and then say, told you so. So I'll wait to say that. But
And so, you know, we're like you say, we're just looking at the
This is a subdivision plat.
subdivision,
three
not
lots.
the building.
That's the next item, yeah.
right.
Yeah, okay.
You can close discussion.
Are we in a public?
No, there's no
Oh,
public
No,
hearing.
I didn't think so,
Oh,
yeah. I make a motion, we approve the subdivision plat application submitted by Walter Jr. and Barbara Thane for the purpose of subdividing 15.964 acres into the Thane subdivision. Nice name, Thane subdivision. The proposed subdivision creates 3 platted lots. Properties affected are located along State Highway 6, northbound frontage road, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868, legally described as A0044, Jesse B. McNeely, tract 46-5 acres 14, Dove Crossing, block 1, lot 6 acres, 0.64. I'm just continuing to read, I'm
There
sorry.
you go. I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Copeland.
I'll second. Go ahead. You're the cutest.
You, the new kid on the
Second.
block.
Bert had this moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Is- a
Jump right on
second
in
from
there.
Commissioner Bearden.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. And that brings us to agenda item number 5, consideration and possible action on a preliminary site plan application submitted by Walter Jr. and Barbara Thane for the purposing of developing a Taco Bell, a restaurant use, a permitted use in Article 11, subsection 11B, B1, General Business District. The properties affected are located along State Highway 6, northbound frontage road, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868, legally described as A0044 Jesse B. McNeely, tract 46-5, acres 14, in Dove Crossing, Block 1, Lot 6, acres .064. Now Todd's going to have questions.
Yeah.
So the project manager might as well come to the podium.
That'd be Mr. Terry.
Come on up.
Over there, please.
I'm Terry Haygood with Haygood Engineering, representing Takala Corporation. We have Dwayne Costiha, who is the property development manager for the Takala franchise. And I guess what I want to discuss primarily, I guess you want me to discuss, just go through the site plan, walk through the site plan for you?
There's a couple of, I mean, there's a lot of lines.
Yes, absolutely.
And some things are a little confusing for me. One, I'll start. I think the easiest thing to do is work off of sheet C30.
30.
Yeah.
Now, this set of plans, just to put some of this in perspective, this development is actually, we're constructing some off-site utility improvements. Okay, so we have, like we've discussed in the planning part, we have the driveway, which is tied to the decel lane, which pretty much extends the entire frontage of the property. But we're also building a 10-inch wastewater main, okay, parallel to the frontage of the property, okay? And so there's a set of sheets in here that is dedicated to the plan view and the profile of the 10-inch wastewater line. That 10-inch wastewater line is actually in the TxDOT right-of-way. It's within 5 feet of the actual property line, but in TxDOT right-of-way. It's going to be a public wastewater line. And that extends up at, gosh, do you have a pointer or anything?
Here, I've got a,
where-
I got a thermometer.
I think the pointer's
You can
up there,
use as a
Terry.
pointer.
A thermometer.
Just make sure it's on. It's on the side, the on and off button.
Got it. Nope.
Lupe didn't put batteries in it.
There we
so-
There it is.
Okay. So, I guess if we want to, if I can, Lupe, if you could go back to probably sheet 21, C21.
Oh, 21.
There you go. Actually, go one more sheet back. Okay, so this is an overall picture. So the wastewater, so here's the Taco Bell site, and this is the Thane subdivision here that we just discussed. The wastewater line connects to an existing manhole right here. So we're extending the wastewater line across in front of some of the existing properties there to the south of the subdivision. And then we hit actually the southern boundary of the subdivision, and we continue that wastewater line all the way up until we get across the main driveway. That is primarily so that the wastewater line, if necessary, can be extended further to the north by other projects adjacent to this. So that's the extent of the 10-inch wastewater line. That's a City of Navasota wastewater line once it's built and accepted by the city.
And that'll support any development on these other
Yes, sir.
lot 3, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir. The other public improvement that we're putting in here, and so Lupe, if you could go to the next sheet. So this is kind of an overall, it's hard to read, but this actually is a blow up of the plan view and then the profile showing how the actual profile of the wastewater line, how it flows gravity wise into the existing manhole right here. So sheet C21, then we go to sheet 22 as a continuation of this. And then sheet 23. Okay, so that's the extent of the wastewater improvements. If you go to the next sheet, okay, now we're into a new public gas line that is being constructed as part of this. Luke, if you go back to C21, I'll give an overview of that gas line. So the gas line where we're connecting, and this was a second alignment that we looked at and worked with Lupe and his staff with, but this seemed to be the appropriate route. So I think this is the hotel that's there. I don't know
New Candlewood.
Yeah, there's the hotel right here. And so our connection point to the existing gas is right here. So we're going to run down the property line of the actual maximum subdivision, and we follow that around. And then we get into a new 15-foot wide gas easement. So all those lines you were seeing on the plat, there's a gas easement that is being dedicated by the plat across the frontage for extension of that gas line. And again, it extends just past the driveway. So Luke, if you could go over to sheet C24, that will be the beginning. So here's where we are. We connect here at the hotel. We come down around the property line, and then we get into a new gas easement. And this is the profile of it. And it continues, goes across the frontage of the Taco Bell site, and it continues till we get on the other side of the driveway. And again, that gas line can be connected for future development to the north. So that's the second public improvement that we're building related to the entire subdivision. Both of these will, the wastewater and the gas will obviously serve the Taco Bell. The decel lane, I think, yeah, go back to C25, Loopy, if you could. I think the decel lane may show up.
Yeah, I think it's there.
There.
You can't really see the end of it, but it's,
Go to C20. I think we can see, because what it actually starts, for TxDOT, we have to do a completely different set of plans. They have their own requirements of the plan set. It's actually, the sheets are half the size of this, but there is the off ramp that comes off of State Highway 6. The decel lane begins in that vicinity, and I believe it's roughly 600 feet long because of the speed. The length of the decel lane is based on the actual speed of the decel lane of the not the main lanes, the frontage road lanes of Highway 6. So that starts right there, and it's a 12-foot wide lane. It's a whole brand new lane, 12-foot wide, that allows for deceleration of vehicles to turn into the driveway. So that's the third public improvement that's being done for the entire subdivision. So I don't want to take away from your questions. I just
No,
wanted
no,
to
no,
give-
I appreciate it, and I know where you're going, that you're doing a lot to get what you want
Okay.
and set everything else up. I understand.
All right. Specific to the Taco Bell, you have some specific
Yeah,
questions?
so this is actually the edge of your development of what you're doing.
That's the actual property
That's the
line.
property line.
Yes,
So this space here that's marked as, access, is this hardscaped? Is this grass?
No, it's actually paved, concrete pavement.
Okay.
It is,
So that's paved, okay, so that's my question. The way the detention pond is going to flow out on top of that concrete
that's correct.
and then cross that as it drains, okay.
Correct.
The water is going, if sheet 30,
I'm on your 30 now.
okay, 30 shows that after it's coming out of this 5-inch outflow in the corner of this, it's sheeting out across this. We've got this much water that's not going to the pond. This water is going to the pond. This stuff's coming out here. There's a 5-foot curb cut here. Is this water going out that curb cut, or is it just tracking this way back over here? And my one question is, you're pushing all this water into this corner. It's coming onto here. There's like a 3-foot elevation drop across this. How does this piece of property get developed while you're pushing water across it? You can't build a retaining wall and level this low. And if you build it up to level, then you're pushing out across it. Where does this water eventually go when somebody goes to develop that? It's their problem, is what you're going to tell me?
That's exactly right. State law requires.
Yeah,
that
this is what we always run into.
State law, we have to take the water. We're having to do
I
the
know.
same thing over here. We're having to accept this water into the corner of the site. So
Yeah, and you've got to take whatever comes on from upstream, but you don't worry about downstream. And part of what we're trying to do is worry about the next guy as well, right? And I know he's not your concern, but he is kind of our concern, at least for me he is. And it seems that this is kind of a sticky point about your detention pond. I say your, just because.
Sure.
All the water coming from your pond is going across this corner, and it's all going right there. And I believe this is a foot, and somebody's got to, how are we accessing this land? Is this going to become the drive that would access back here? If this becomes developed back here, would this become the road that goes to it? If so, we don't have access there. So we're coming in front of all of the Taco Bell traffic to utilize this as a road, or are we going to wind up having somebody pay to build a road back here? But all I can see is either you got to make this level. If you make this level, you either dig down or build up. If you dig down, you build a wall, and now you got a waterfall. And if you build up, you got nowhere for this to flow. So I'm a little worried about that. What are our people saying? And I understand your concern that is not your concern, but it is mine. So
The drainage criteria and the drainage requirements is you don't allow more water to leave the site than was coming across the site
I
before the
understand
development.
that.
Their detention pond over detains that amount, and so the sheet flow that's going onto that property is the same or less than before, and that's what state law requires.
Yeah, I know. I've read them too. It's still problematic for me. Let me see what else. So that is a hard drive. I get that.
Is there gonna be a fence of any kind on the side of that, or?
I would like to speak to the drainage a little bit further.
Okay, absolutely.
So if you could go back, there's 2 sheets besides C30 that demonstrate the calculations
Yes.
that justify what Loopy was mentioning here. The EDA and the DDA sheets, I think it's like sheets 5 and 6 or something like that.
Okay.
It's early on in the sheets. So there, just passed them.
Yeah.
Going too quick.
Yeah, so what we're required to do is to analyze the drainage patterns as they exist without the development,
Understood.
okay? And so this next sheet is the developed conditions, or proposed developed conditions, that we have to demonstrate that there is no increase an adverse impact downstream to any of the properties downstream. So we go through all the calculations by drainage area to make sure that we're not increasing any flow onto a downstream site. Now, the other piece to this is that, and we just got the approval today on the drainage from TxDOT for this water ultimately goes into the floodplain and into the right of way. And TxDOT's already accepted the release of the water from the site into the TxDOT right of way. So they've accepted our drainage calculations also. But what we're having to do is release the water in as close to sheet flow conditions, because that's how the water flows today. It's sheet flowing across the agricultural land. And so what we're trying to do is use that concrete paving as a way to kind of deconcentrate it and get it back to more of a level sheet flow as it leaves that proposed paving that is right in that area. So that's the drainage philosophy that we've adopted on this. The access road here and here will be further developed as these properties develop. So they'll continue, and they'll have to provide their own detention ponds also, so that there's no inundation and impact to the floodplain. Hope that helped.
Well, I mean, I understand it. When you draw a line that shows concentrated sheet flow, the water's not going down the line. The water is spread over the distance in that area, depending on what the topo exactly is. I mean, it's not following a line. I understand that the release from the pond is a tad lower. It's not significantly lower. It's not at all. I also, have issues with the way everybody utilizes U.S. geologic data and everything, because what we don't get is real data. What we get is annual data that's averaged over things to tell us how much rain comes in 5 minutes in a 20-year flood. Sure. And what we don't get is data on flash floods, which is the way it rains here. But you can't get that data because it's too isolated a cell to be able to make these sorts of maps and fit it into the numbers game and the math that you guys use in order to do it. And we've had some problems with detention ponds that are made to all the regs, but don't operate properly when we have flash floods. Mm-hmm. And that's my concern. And I know that this, you're sheeting out the corner. This is not the kind of detention pond we normally get. Normally we get a pond and then they neck it down into an 8-inch drain and dump it into the ditch. And then it fills the ditch. We don't have a pond that's built on a slope that fills so that the corner of the pond drains out, which is what this one's doing. Mm-hmm. So that's a little different. And what we have is 140-foot long pond that's 2.5 to 3 feet deep, right?
Correct.
That's a big dip. It really is just a big ditch in its own, right? It's a collection ditch that's then filling up and draining out one corner. I get that it all works. It's just when we get one of those really nasty rains and we see what it looks like, we can't come back because it's done. I mean, we've done that once or twice already now. Had some really bad ponds.
Yeah.
But the math on them worked for us too. Worked for the engineers as well. That's all I'm saying. And how do we fix those sorts of things, right? We don't have the math to look at the flash floods. We only wait until the flash flood happens, and then we say, dang, that pond didn't really work.
Well, what I would offer, okay, is, I'm a hydrology geek, okay? I love hydraulics and hydrology. And, this follows the city ordinance, and the city ordinance is very typical across the state. We work all over the state. And so I would love to have a conversation with you about what could be done in terms of how, the point discharges that are established and what's the definition of a flash flood. I live in Central Texas. I live on a lake, so I certainly understand flash flooding. So, I'd love to have a conversation with you about maybe ideas of how ordinances could be tweaked, but we've met the intent, we meet the intent of the state law.
Understood.
And my license is at stake here, and I'm standing behind it, so I feel good about the design.
Okay.
These signs meet the ordinance. That are.
Yes, those will actually be applied for and permitted separately, just through the permitting office. But yes, I mean, they're within Highway 6, 400 feet, so highway signs are allowed. And just from looking at them preliminarily, they appear to meet all the sign regulations.
I would say, I think I found one mistake on the drawings. There's the trickle channel. In one location, it's marked, I think the design page for the trickle channel is marked that it's a 5-foot wide channel, and on the sheet, it's marked as a 3-foot channel.
Oh, you're talking about the actual detail? It's
Yeah,
showing
the
it's 3
detail,
foot?
the detail
Okay.
shows a 5-foot, but the sheet shows a 3-foot.
Yeah, C31, the
Right.
enlarged plan of the trickle channel calls out 3 foot. You're correct. And the detail on C70 sheet C70, detail 6 is shown as 5 foot. So
Yeah.
yes, we will correct that.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
The side by the driveway right here, where you're driving in, is it gonna have any fencing or anything? I'm thinking about what Connie says over here. And curbing, fencing, being able to get out.
So the cool thing about this site, and
Uh-huh.
the city initially it's not something we asked up front. We
Uh-huh.
mentioned it, but they actually already designed it this way. It is a double drive-through.
Oh,
So
okay,
there's
okay.
2 lanes. One is to bypass,
Like
and
a
one is
McDonald's.
get
Okay.
your delicious tacos and gordita crunch wraps. The other is to bypass in case of an
Gordita
emergency.
crunch
Yeah.
wraps. Mexican pizza.
So essentially, there's no curb there then?
There is a curb, but there's 2 lanes. One
There's 2
for
lanes,
bypass.
okay.
In the 2 lanes, there's no.
Oh, no,
curb.
sir.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
sir. Yep.
okay. But does it fence it off from the other properties?
I'm not sure. Is there?
No, there's no actual barrier between the bypass and the drive-through lane.
Okay, okay.
So that would let Connie get out of the drive-through if she needed
Yeah,
to, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Now, the actual drive-through lane is a contrast color, and that, it's just the drive-through, isn't it, Dwayne?
Yes, sir.
The bypass is like regular concrete, but
Okay.
there is a contrast color for the actual drive-through lane.
Nice. Okay. And then did I write something else too? I think that was it. More about the fence. I saw the landscape plan. Yeah.
No, and I had Connie's question in my stuff too. I don't forget what she brings.
I don't like those shrubs, but whatever.
You don't like the shrubs?
But that's okay.
You're kind of a subject matter expert on horticulture, though.
Yes,
aren't
I
you?
am.
Or master
Yeah, I asked him
gardener?
out there this
I
morning
hear
how many
you're a
hours I
master,
worked. Yeah,
right?
yeah. But they'll probably live in the drought
hmm
and the flood. You know, when the flood comes through from Todd.
The flash flood.
And just a quick note, it's in the background of the report, but I think it's worthwhile just to mention, as Terry said, there's a lot of moving parts on this project. There's a lot of utility extensions, sewer, gas, of course, that decel lane. It really was a good partnership and a good project to work through with Terry and the family and Dwayne. We went through the Economic Development Corporation. They provided some funding for those offsite utilities, because hopefully in the future that'll pay dividends back, when all that gets developed. And so just want to say was a challenging project, but I want to say it was a good experience working with Terry and really the whole group on the deal. So
Appreciate that. The feeling's mutual. We're not quite there to the finish line, but we're getting close with Exxon and TxDOT, so we're bringing that to a head.
Good luck. But the report itself is very well done.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. I just can't read it, but it is nice.
I don't have any other questions. I'll send you pictures if it doesn't work, though, I promise you.
I would love to see him, and.
He's been
you
known to
bet,
do
you
that.
bet.
I'll get some right now.
You'll get them first.
You'd be first in line over there to get your gordito.
Yeah, I might grab a picture myself because I'll be in the drive.
I make a motion, we approve the preliminary site plan application. Submitted, I'm not gonna read this whole thing.
You don't
again,
have to read that.
But I make a
As
motion, we approve the preliminary site plan.
Have a motion from Commissioner Copeland to approve the preliminary site plan application for Taco Bell.
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Ketkowski. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, motion carries. And that brings us to agenda item number 6, consideration and possible action on amending plat application submitted by JCLB Investments LLC for the purpose of correcting boundary line errors of the formerly filed replat document number 2025-347895. The properties affected are located along White Wing Street in the Dove Crossing subdivision in Navasota, Grimes County, Texas 77868. Legally described as Dove Crossing Block 7, Lot 3R-1 through Lot 3R-10 and 3RB.
Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. Cossio wants to make a quick comment.
Sure.
Oh.
Recording.
Yeah, my name is Dwayne Costigan with Taco Bell. I just want to publicly thank this committee tonight for your actions and work, but I also want to publicly thank Lupe and your entire city staff. Terry Haygood's been my civil engineer for about 35 or 40 years, and I've been doing this for about 46 years. But y'all got a talented staff here, very professional, very efficient at what they do. They don't let you break the rules, but they work with you in a reciprocal manner. And obviously the Economic Development Corporation of the city had participated in some of the improvements as well. So that's very much appreciated. And also the Thane family and Tex Maxon as well, sellers of this property. It's not just a Taco Bell here on a 1 acre lot. This potentially is creating approximately 15 acre commercial development for the city. And that's the reason we're putting all that infrastructure in for sewer lines and gas lines, not just for Taco Bell, but to handle the entire 15 acre parcel. So I really think it's going to be good for the city, in my opinion, but also just want to compliment the city for being progressive and working together as a team. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mexican pizza. I play pickleball with Tex, so, you know, he didn't tell me about this, but.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank y'all.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let me get to that page.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, the item you just read is, as you mentioned, it is a replat. It's an amending plat. However, legally, it's technically a replat, but it is an amending plat. State statute allows these sort of instruments to correct boundary line errors and other corrections that are needed on plats. I know Greg is here with McLaren Brown surveying if you'll have any questions about it. In essence, there were some monument errors, there were some dimension errors that was discovered by a different surveyor, different from the one that prepared the original plat. And so this amending plat takes care of those issues for the record and obviously for all the monuments that are set.
Can you pull it up?
The only question I had was the way this was originally platted, was that done as a PUD?
The zoning was a PUD, yes,
Okay.
it was a,
Did the PUD have specified square footage of each house plot?
oh, yeah, there's a minimum lot size and
And
it
did
checked all.
we cross that barrier now that we've got better accurate numbers?
No,
So
it
we're
still meets it.
So we're,
Yeah.
if it was a 4,500 square foot lot or bigger, it didn't drop down to a 3,750?
No, sir, no, it's mainly, as
Because
I
that
mentioned-
would violate the PUD.
Correct,
And
and we
that's
would
what-
obviously be in a much more hurry to correct those adjustments,
Right.
right? But no, this is merely a,
Okay.
from the conversations I've had with Greg, it's really just a, measure twice, put monument once. I think that should be adopted, you know? And so this is really just a correction. I mean, if you notice the original plat, it's kind of lopsided and it goes over.
Yes.
The original plat presented did not have that line going that way. And so obviously now that it's measured, now that they verified what's on the ground to what's on paper, it didn't really line correctly. But this new amending plat, the new surveyor did a great job on addressing all those concerns. And this was also reviewed by staff. And so this gets us back on track on that subdivision.
Did we charge for them to come and have to redo this?
Yes, there is a fee for an amending plat.
Gosh, okay. That seems sad.
Well,
flat fee or
that's
based off- flat fee or-
that's between the surveyor and the developer.
Okay.
So we have an amending plat fee,
Okay,
which is
an
probably
amending plat
not the
fee.
same as what they
Oh.
charge.
It's probably
Yeah.
not as big as it could be either.
Yeah, right.
So again, measure twice and stake once.
Measure twice and stake. I think that counts for wood and for survey stakes
Yes.
probably. So
It just seems like such a little small, narrow thing. It's like, ooh, should we charge for that?
Yep.
Okay.
27 by 47 became 127 by 48.
Any questions? I don't have any
I
questions.
mean, I was just worried about whether or not the
Yeah.
PUD was a thing, that's all. Otherwise,
May want to hire a different surveyor next time.
Maybe they were just young and starting out, and we got to give them a chance. Do it, Todd.
I move we accept the amended plat application submitted by JCLB Investments LLC so that we can correct the boundary line error that was formerly filed.
Have a motion from Commissioner Wisner
Second.
and a second from Commissioner Copeland. All in favor, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Seeing no opposition, the motion carries. And that brings us to consideration and possible action on the meeting minutes for June 23rd, 2025 and June 26th, 2025.
Man, I've
Holy
slept since then.
smokes.
it's been a while. Do y'all remember?
Barely.
I think you,
Oh, I see an error right here,
Oh,
right there. It's a typo.
what does that say?
Right there, it said James Harris
Oh, no, that's not right.
instead of James Harris.
Yep, we'll fix that.
where's the AI when you need it, Lupe?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Can't let it replace me, Still do it the old fashioned way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will fix that.
I didn't remember, but everything seemed to be in order. But I missed that the first time.
Yeah, I missed it too.
Uh-huh, when I was reading through it.
Everyone was at the 23rd meeting.
Everybody.
We should have had a party.
We should have had Mexican pizza. We should have.
Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes
We have a motion to approve the minutes
for
from
June
Commissioner.
23rd and June the 26th. Can I do
With
it in
the-
one? They have to be separate.
Well, we gotta make a correction on the
Yeah, with the
councilman's
correction
name.
of Councilman Harris's name.
Yes, you can approve both of them.
Okay.
Have a motion to approve from Commissioner Ketkowski.
Second.
Second for Commissioner Copeland. Any further discussion? Any other corrections anybody found? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. That brings us to the final agenda item to adjourn at 6:50 PM.
All right.
And thank you for the pen.
You're welcome.
I think somebody needs to take Commissioner Copeland for pizza at Taco Bell.
Thank you, Councilman Harris, for filling in for Councilman Holt.